This is quickly becoming the most effective treatment for tinnitus ever created. Hi guys, Rachael Cook, Doctor of Audiology at Modern Tinnitus, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a detailed review of the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device. Tinnitus is a common condition characterized by a buzzing, ringing, or humming sound that isn't actually present in your environment. The CDC estimates that nearly 15% of adults, or almost 50 million adults in the United States alone, notice tinnitus, and that about 20 million of those individuals are significantly disturbed by it. Tinnitus is primarily caused by hearing loss, but tinnitus can also be caused or worsened by loud noise exposure, ear infections or blockages, medications that are harmful to the inner ear, head or neck injuries, TMJ disorder, blood circulation disorders, and a variety of other unknown causes. And to this point, there has been no universally effective treatment option that works for everyone. This is why everyone is so excited about the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device. But before I get into my detailed review about the Lenire, be sure to give this video a thumbs up to bring videos like these to a wider audience. And while you're at it, and if you haven't yet already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with notification bell so that you never miss any one of our newly released videos. We really appreciate it, and be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what tinnitus treatments you've used in the past and whether they were successful for you or not. The Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device was developed by the global medical technology company Neuromod Devices. The Lenire device is the first and currently the only tinnitus treatment device to receive de novo approval from the FDA in the United States. It uses something called bimodal neuromodulation to reduce tinnitus disturbance and provide tinnitus relief. Bimodal neuromodulation is a therapeutic treatment that consists of stimulating two sensory pathways at the same time in order to change brain activity. And this approach has been proven to enhance therapeutic outcomes for many different conditions in addition to tinnitus. These include chronic pain, anxiety and depression, addiction, and even sleep disorders. In the case of Lenire, the two pathways that it stimulates is the auditory pathway through the ears and the somatosensory pathway via the tongue. The Lenire system consists of three main components: the headphones, the processor, and the tongue tip stimulator. The processor is programmed by a tinnitus specialist based on the results of your hearing and tinnitus evaluation. It then delivers personalized sound therapy via the headphones, as well as electrical impulses via the tongue tip stimulator that you place in your mouth. The sound therapy is a blend of many different therapeutic sounds at different pitches and volumes, but overall is very pleasant and relaxing. The tongue tip stimulator is connected into this Lenire device system to provide coordinated electrical stimulation of the tongue. And this tongue stimulation is not like electroshock therapy. It is very gentle and feels pretty similar to like a soda water or champagne bubbles, just lightly kind of fizzling on your tongue. So, what does the Lenire treatment process entail? After the processor has been programmed by your provider and after the tongue tip stimulator has been calibrated in office, this very often leads to a brief in-office demonstration of about 10 minutes or so of the device. You were then sent home with the device and instructions to complete 2 30-minute treatment sessions per day for a minimum of 12 weeks. Typically, while you do these sessions, you're trying really hard to relax and completing something that you enjoy, like reading, journaling, or completing a puzzle. These treatment sessions should be completed alongside either in-person or virtual follow-up sessions with your tinnitus specialist. This is to ensure that progress is actually being made and that you aren't encountering any barriers to your treatment that could make your treatment less effective. Now, trust me, I know it seems a little bit weird that you need to take something and put it in your mouth so that it can stimulate your tongue to treat your tinnitus. But hear me out, because the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device is backed by a ton of research. The first large-scale TENT-A1 clinical trial results were published in 2020. This trial focused not only on treatment outcomes, but also on other things, such as comfort and ease of use of the device. To measure the impact of treatment, researchers used 2 verified questionnaires, the Tinnitus Handicap Inventory and the Tinnitus Functional Index. These questionnaires have long been used to assess tinnitus management outcomes, even for things such as cognitive behavioral therapy, tinnitus retraining therapy, and more. This first study found that 86.2% of trial participants saw an improvement in their tinnitus after 12 weeks of treatment. They also found that 80.1% of participants saw continued improvement beyond the 12-week mark, and that 77.8% of participants would recommend Lenire to others with tinnitus. The TENT-A2 clinical trial results published in 2022 proved the importance of the tongue stimulation, as the sound therapy-only treatment was not nearly as effective as the use of bimodal neuromodulation, where both the auditory and somatosensory pathways were stimulated. You can see that in this study, treatment outcomes further improved, jumping to 95% of participants seeing improvement in tinnitus severity after 12 weeks of treatment, 91% of participants seeing continued improvement in tinnitus severity when evaluated again at the 12-month mark, and with a whopping 87.8% of participants who said they would recommend Lenire tinnitus treatment to others with tinnitus. Then came the TENT-A3 trial published in August of this year, which is what led to the Lenire device being granted de novo approval from the FDA. During this research study, they found that 70.5% of participants that received no tinnitus improvement from sound therapy alone saw a clinically meaningful reduction in their tinnitus when tongue tip stimulation was introduced. And for the people who did benefit from sound therapy, a majority of them gained additional benefit when tongue tip stimulation was added in. Not only that, but nearly 90% of participants said they would recommend Lenire to others suffering from bothersome tinnitus, which certainly proved its comfort, ease of use, and effectiveness. And in a major vote of confidence for product safety, there were 0 recorded serious adverse side effects from using the device. After the TENT-A3 study results were reviewed and de novo approval from the FDA was received, Lenire became available through select tinnitus specialists in the United States around March of 2023. Neuromod was careful to only partner with experienced tinnitus practitioners, given the level of expertise needed to treat tinnitus effectively. And during the initial United States rollout, the company's main goal with Lenire was to validate their clinical trial results. And that is exactly what happened. You can see it for yourself here in a retrospective chart review of 220 patients from the Alaska Hearing and Tinnitus Clinic, led by Dr. Emily McMahon and Dr. Hubert Lim. Out of the 220 participants with moderate or worse tinnitus disturbance, 91.5% of them saw clinically significant relief from their tinnitus after just 12 weeks of treatment. In fact, 78% of participants saw this improvement over just the first 6 weeks of treatment, an incredible testament to the device's effectiveness. Now, if you're unaware of tinnitus treatment success rates, just know that success rates this high are completely unheard of. And in my own experience with Lenire thus far, I can confirm that my patients find it easy to use and report that treatment sessions are calming and comfortable. And of course, my patients are already seeing dramatic improvements in their tinnitus when other treatments they've tried have been largely unsuccessful. So, who is considered a candidate for using Lenire? First, in order to be a good candidate, you should have a moderate or worse disturbance from your tinnitus as defined by the Tinnitus Handicap Inventory or the Tinnitus Functional Index. These are subjective reporting questionnaires that are used before, during, or after your treatment in order to quantify your disturbance or annoyance from tinnitus. Now, it's not necessarily required that your tinnitus be considered moderate or worse, but treatment outcomes using Lenire are definitely reduced if your level of tinnitus disturbance is either minimal or mild. Second, you must have hearing loss within the treatment range, which is 40 decibels or better from 250 to 1,000 hertz, and 80 decibels or better from 2,000 to 8,000 hertz. This is to ensure that you are able to hear and benefit from the sound therapy element of this treatment. Third, you should have been experiencing your tinnitus for at least 3 months, as tinnitus is at times temporary and can sometimes resolve on its own. You'll also need to have a healthy tongue and mouth without any sores or impaired sensitivity that could compromise the effectiveness of the tongue tip stimulator. And fourth, you must be willing to commit to treatment for at least an hour a day over a minimum of 12 weeks. As with any medical treatment, it only works if you actually do it. So you must be willing and able to set the time aside for your treatment sessions and complete them according to your provider's recommendations. And if you have any further questions about whether you may or may not be a good candidate for Lenire, be sure to check out my video, The 7 Reasons That You Are Not a Good Lenire Candidate, that will be linked down in the description below. So now let's jump into some of the pros and cons of treating your tinnitus with Lenire. Let's start off with the pros. Honestly, the tinnitus care space has long been filled with gimmicky, unregulated devices, all with the promise of curing your tinnitus. This is because up until this point, there have been 0 evidence-backed and FDA-approved tinnitus treatment devices to fill that need. However, not only is Lenire the first FDA-approved tinnitus treatment device, but it is one of, if not the most effective options for treating tinnitus available. Even more effective than using hearing aids, which up until this point has been the most effective treatment option for most people. And the results of the Lenire clinical trials also proved that treatment outcomes are long-lasting, at least up to 12 months after the initial 12-week treatment window. However, some people are choosing to use it past that initial 12-week window because of the benefits that it gives them, and also just to set aside a little bit of me time during a pretty hectic day. It's also incredibly simple to use. To start treatment, you simply power on your processor and your headphones, place the tongue tip stimulator on your tongue, and press play. This automatically begins a timed 30-minute treatment cycle. So really, your only job is to carve out a 30-minute window where you can kick back, relax, and complete your treatment session. When you're done, the tongue tip stimulator is wiped off using an alcohol swab, and then everything is placed back into the storage case. And the processor and the headphones keep charge for a week's worth of treatments, so you just pick one day a week when you're gonna charge them up. Now, let's talk about the cons. First, there is a limited fitting range for the amount of hearing loss that you can have, which means that this is definitely going to disqualify some candidates who would have otherwise been really good options for this treatment. Additionally, there are some people who only have a mild disturbance from their tinnitus, and for that reason, they may be better treated by other tinnitus management options that are out there. One possible disadvantage I see in today's day and age is simply the time to set aside for each treatment session. While an hour is really only 4% of your day, many people lead very busy lives between work, pets, parents, children, and more. Carving out 2 30-minute treatment sessions per day over 12 straight weeks may be difficult for some people. Another potential roadblock for some people may be the cost. Lenire is not covered by insurance at this time. In fact, as far as I know, there aren't actually any tinnitus treatment options that are covered by insurance, meaning that Lenire is 100% out of pocket. Due to the vast amount of research and development that went into Lenire and the professional services required to administer this treatment, it can typically cost between $4,000 and $5,000, but this will definitely depend on where you live and what other professional services are being provided alongside. And finally, even though Lenire is one of the most effective tinnitus treatment options that we have ever seen, it still doesn't mean that it works for everyone. This is why you will likely still see some bad reviews posted online. Some of these negative reviews are simply because Lenire just didn't work for those patients, or their tinnitus provider didn't address other lifestyle factors that should be addressed in order to receive benefit. What I have found is that just using Lenire alone without addressing other contributors to your tinnitus is a recipe for disaster. Now, let me share just a few final pieces of information about Lenire. First, the device and the headphones have a 3-year warranty. This is plenty of time to complete treatment without worrying about something happening to your device. However, the tongue tip stimulator is only rated for 180 hours of use. But even at an hour a day of use, 180 hours essentially gives you 6 straight months of use of the device, which is essentially double the treatment window. But if you still enjoy using your Lenire system, maybe just less often than you were during treatment, you can still purchase additional replacement tongue tip stimulators, no problem. Overall, and in my personal opinion, I would absolutely recommend the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device. The research is not only super solid, but it's being echoed every single day by my own patients' experiences. What's even more encouraging is that several of my patients who really weren't all that successful using other tinnitus treatment options have been very, very successful with Lenire. And let me just say, this is a huge relief as a tinnitus provider who really, really, really wants the best for her patients. I also just think that this device is a major win for the tinnitus treatment space overall. This will no doubt inspire other researchers and companies to invest the time and money needed to improve tinnitus treatment options and effectiveness. One such contribution we are pioneering over at Modern Tinnitus is involving the use of biometric tracking. Biometric tracking is the collection and analysis of different biomarkers that we can use as a proxy for tinnitus disturbance. These are things like heart rate variability, exercise and movement, sleep quality and quantity, and more. These biomarkers can allow us some objective data points to measure just how effective our tinnitus treatments are, including Lenire. And for more information about how we are using this method in combination with Lenire to provide comprehensive tinnitus treatment overall, you can check out this video that will definitely be linked down in the description below. At the end of the day, it's exciting to see just how far the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device has come over the last several years. If you've tried everything to get rid of your tinnitus without success, do not give up hope just yet, because the Lenire Tinnitus Treatment Device is one of, if not the most effective tinnitus treatment option we've ever seen. And if you would like to see if Lenire is right for you, head on over to lenire.com to find a Lenire partner clinic in your area.